ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್. ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸೌಂಡ್.
Now can you hear me?
Yes sir, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Yes, so let us start the program without
Sure.
further delay.
Sure.
Yes sir.
Sir, meeting ಅಲ್ಲಿ MP Ganesh ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಿ.
So very good morning to one and all. We welcome all the allied dignitaries, resource persons, speaker, national and international for the day, and all the delegate participants across the globe. I, Professor Shantanu Das from Seshadipram First Grade College, welcome all of you on behalf of Seshadipram Educational Trust, Seshadipram First Grade College, North Bangalore Science Forum, Department of Physical Education and Sports, in association with Physical Education Foundation of India, Bangalore City University, Karnataka Science and Technology Academy, and all the allied bodies, KSTA, Mentorec X, Hover Robotics Research Foundation of India, Physical Education Foundation of India, Fit India, RevUp, Ira Bharti, Mysore, Vivekananda Yoga Center, University, National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sports, Ukraine, Universities Erlanga Excellence with Morality, Surabaya, East Java, Indonesia, Ministry of Youth and Sports of the Republic of Indonesia, College of the Business Administration, Dhaka, Bangladesh, IUBAT International, University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, Dhaka, Bangladesh, University Science, Malaysia, and University of Sharjah, and all our collaborators. We welcome you for the Day 5 program, where we have amongst us the first speaker of the day, Padma Shri Sri K.Y. Venkatesh Sir, Paralympian India, Limca People of the Year Award 2016, Kannada Rajya Sabha Award 2004, and he will be speaking on or enlightening us on the promotion of sports for the physically challenged at state, national, and international levels. Next speaker will be Dr. Miftakul Jana, sports psychology from University Nigeria, Surabaya, Indonesia, and she will be speaking on sports psychology. Then we have Professor Maslova Olena Madden from Department of Sports Medicine, Deputy Head Academic Affairs from National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sports, Ukraine. Then we have Professor Dr. Somendra Saha, International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, IUABT. And then we have Gurpreet Ji from India, who will be speaking on adventure sports on paragliding. I welcome all of them for this Allied Day, beautiful 5th day of the program. So before we start, let me introduce the first speaker of the day, K.Y. Venkatesh Sir. K.Y. Venkatesh Sir profile goes that way, that he is the son of the youngest son of late Dr. K.R.Y. Iyengar and late Srimati Jayamai. Youngest son K.Y. Venkatesh Ji is physically challenged by birth, 4 to 2 inches, 4 feet 2 inches by height. Despite being at serious disadvantage due to very short height, Venkatesh bravely went ahead and faced many challenges in the sport, cultural and other social activities, and came up as a winner in many situations repeatedly. Self-achievement in the sports, excelled in more than one sports like athletics, badminton, basketball, hockey, soccer, and volleyball. Participated in the 4th Dwarf Olympic Games 2005 and won 6 medals, and India was placed 5th in the medal standing. Name has been entered in the Limca Book of Records 2016, and to get the highest medals in the international events in a single year. The international body appreciated his discipline and punctuality, led the Indian at the 5th Duat Olympic Games 2009, and India won 17 medals. His individual medals was 4, 1 gold and 3 bronze medals. Promotion of sports at state, national and international levels. The government of India saw his contribution to the sports for the physically challenged and was sent as a team escort for many international level sports meets to help the wheelchair bound players. Played a key role in getting the international affiliation to India from the International Wheelchair Basketball Federation, IWBF, Canada. International Para-Equestrian Committee, IPSC, Switzerland, and International Dwarf Sports Federation, IDSF, UK. He took special interest in promoting and developing sports like wheelchair basketball by bringing the able-bodied international legend basketball players to get involved in the development of wheelchair basketball in India. He had attended the International Paralympic Committee accredited coaching, technical and classification courses in wheelchair basketball to promote wheelchair basketball in India. He was the first person in the physically challenged to get the Asian Bodies Office to India, Asian Dwarf Sports Federation. Promote the cause for the physically challenged community. He has actively involved with the government and non-governmental organizations to make user-friendly access to the wheelchair people at important places. And he is involved in making the sports grounds like basketball, badminton user-friendly for the wheelchair players. He is working with the manufacturers for the manufacturing of low-cost sports equipment for the physically challenged. Accolades from the press and media. He has received the Padma Shri Awards in 2021, Limca Book of Year Award 2016, Rotary International Award 2014, Eklavya Award 2005, Kannada Rajyotsav Award 2004. He had been commended, appreciated, and decorated with large variety of honors by various sports management from the center, state, as well as by the media, both electronic and print, and in the other forums. Perhaps there are very few peers who have received such unparalleled amount of recognition from all around. I wholeheartedly welcome our Padma Shri K.Y. Venkatesh sir to speak the life journey of an Olympian. Over to you, sir. And we are indeed privileged and humbled to have you on this morning as a first speaker, and you have been conferred with a 4th highest civilian award, Padma Shri. Over to you, sir.
Prof. Santana, it's time for me. Yes.
Venkatesh sir, over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much for introducing me, Mr. Das sir. Let me give my big salute to the allied sports persons around the world who are here with our Seshadripuram College, who is doing a great job, especially the management, staff, and Das, who are taking the special care in hosting today's 5 days conference. Due to this pandemic, all the sports persons around the world are cannot come out of their this one and do practice. So let me start this one. I should first thank my say guru, means the like Drona, Mr. Dr. Lakshmi Shah, who is also here in this our meeting, who is mentor for our para sports. Actually, our para sports started in the year 1989. That time, the government of India, nor the central government, had recognized our sports. The main pillar for our para sports is Dr. Lakshmi Nizamuddin. Her husband is the famous IPS officer, ex-DGP, Mr. Nizamuddin. She's also a para sportsman. She's a wheelchair bound. She took special interest to the para sports persons to develop para sports in Karnataka, first in Karnataka, then in India. So she started conducting every year the state meet. The state meet, it was all the games. One game is very difficult, but she used to take all the games like athletics, swimming, and badminton. These three, major this one. In that, many people started shining, especially you must be knowing, most of them must be knowing Padma Shri Malati Holla, Arjuna Awadi, CN Janaki, Mahadev, like that, plenty of people. Those they are the pillars for our para sports to start. And afterwards, till 2004, our para sports people used to spend their own and used to represent in the international meet. Spend on their own means they used to go and raise funds through the philanthropies. Means the industrialists, the Rotary Club or the Lions Club, they used to help and support them. These things are very this one for our para sports because they have to leave their practice and go for their financial assistance. This is a big hindrance. And the media also came forward. But in media, if you put this article, they say it's a begging. So most of the para players started giving the appeal in the newspapers. But all of a sudden in the year 2004, it changed the scenario. The government of India, that time it was Mr. Sanjay Dutt's father, Sunil Dutt, who was a sports minister, who that time 2004 Para-Olympics, Athens, Mr. Devendra, he is the first athlete in Indian athletics to get a gold medal. He created a world record throwing a javelin throw. His one hand he had lost due to a train accident. From that time, our para people has proved all things are possible. Means countability, not the disability. Like that, from 2004, many of our para athletes, you name it, in swimming, athletics, badminton, many games, they have proved they can do everything. Now with this current Paralympics, our badminton team is included, and even in our badminton also we have world number 1. We have 6 categories in badminton. In 6 categories also, 3 to 5 people are in top rank, world rank. That is BWF give the world rankings. So like that, we are doing this, that is all things are possible, we say. So now I am the secretary of Karnataka Para Badminton Association. We conduct every year state meet first. In state meet, we try to identify the new talented people, especially from remote village, rural parts of Karnataka. So let them get a chance to participate in a state meet. If they prove very good, they will go to national meet. If they try very good in that one also, they will be going to participate in the international meet. Like that, many people from India as well as from Karnataka have represented Asian Games or Asian Para Games, World Championships, like that. To name a few from Karnataka, Mr. Anand Boregoda, who was ranked world number 1. And from India, we can say Pramod Bhagat. He is rural part of from Odisha. That is from Cuttack. It is little far. And he's from, in this village, the Naxalites were there. He has proved, though he is a para person, he came back to the city in Cuttack. He started practicing. Then he proved his ability. From past 4 years, he is the ranked world number 1. So we are expecting medal from him this year. Gold medal is guaranteed from him. And another lady is there, Parul Parmar. She was from Gujarat, 7 times world champion. You can't believe, 7 times, not 1, 2, 3, 7 times continuously. She is the world champion. This year she lost to our fellow lady only, Mansi Joshi. Her leg is one amputee. She lost due to a train accident. She uses prosthetics and she practices. So she is also current, now she is the current world number 1. Like that, our para people are there. And I can give one more instance. There is one person by name Vishwas. He lost hands due to the mismanagement of our electricity board. Above his house, there was going a high tension wire. So he didn't know, he was playing that electricity, this one, it was so high tension, means high voltage. He was electrocuted and his hands were lost. But he didn't sit quietly. His friends, well-wishers supported him. He wrote an exam, the final degree, graduation. He got a graduate. But after getting graduate, he didn't keep quiet. He thought, let me stand on my own. See, our para people are like, what they want is, they have to give an opportunity. They don't want to depend on others. And they don't want mercy. You poor fellows sit in a home like that, they don't want those things. What they want is you give them an opportunity, they can prove what they are. Like that, our Vishwas tried many places, government jobs, private jobs, everything. Everywhere in the interview, they used to tease him. You don't have 2 hands, what will you do? But he didn't keep quiet. He learned swimming. He's a multi-talented. He learned swimming, dance, taekwondo. Then he proved in this one. The national he got, now presently national he has got 20 swimming medals. International around 6 medals. The government of India saw his achievement. First from Karnataka to get a role model award. National Role Model Award. So like that, our para people are proving that even we can prove what we are, and we can show to the society that all things are possible if you give an opportunity. Like that. If anyone has a question, can you please ask me the questions? I can give you the answer. I'm waiting for the questions.
Really, sir, we are inspired by the passion, by the feeling, by the courage, what you take to overcome those physical challenges. And in fact, I had been telling to Sri Lakshmi sir that God has many physically abled people. They are there, but they can't even compete with the mental strength of the physically disabled people. That is the great advantage God has given to the physically disabled people, that they may have lost one or the other parts of the body, or they have been disabled, but even the endurance, the effort, the strength, what they bear, because of which we can see you here in front of us, and you are promoting and encouraging even. And from India, we have seen, not only India, many places, we have seen that people are the Paralympians with these conditions, with this disabilities, with this, they are rocking the world. They are achieving so many things. So definitely government, non-government, private, personally, we should definitely support, because ultimately it counts. We all are human beings. That we shouldn't forget, we all are human beings. So because of somebody's fault, as you have mentioned, somebody gets electrocuted, somebody has got deformed, some because of surgery or accident, it is not their personal or anything else because of which they have gone through that. It is because of some other calamities or because of certain issues they have. So really, we brave hearts. We tag you people as a brave hearts. We tag you as a brave hearts, and that's why we have taken you into our program so that people can
Thank
get
you.
motivated. We can see many able people are sitting ideally. They
Yes.
are not taking it. Just they get one medal and they are behind the governmental funds, governmental this, governmental that program, but they get converted into greed. But we salute you, sir, that
Thank
in
you.
spite of all those you have achieved and you aspire to dream to do many things for the para Olympians or para sports. Sir, Lakshmi sir is there. He will be the best person to speak more about. So I
Yes,
would like
yes.
Lakshmi sir.
One more, before I tell Lakshmi, I want to tell one more thing.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Actually, presently the Sports Authority of India has selected many para-Olympians as coaches because they can guide them. The government is giving opportunity to our para-sports people, legend Olympians, para-Olympians. So this is one more great achievement I can say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So good morning. Scintillating, heart-touching, strong story you spread in the air, Padma Shri, Mr. Venkatesh. I always call him as Mr. Venki. He's so affectionate personality. So yes, he made 2-3 points. It's very, very right in its direction. They are not the beggars, they are not begging, they are more independent, they are more able. The word disability should not be used. They are differently able. It's called the Vyanga. So the ability of the para athlete friend is much, much, much above any able athlete. I can, with an experience of accompanying them to Asian para games recently concluded. My sister is there. Indonesia hosted. We were in Jakarta. That wonderful game. Our Indian para athletes medal tally is much more than our able athletes on Asian Games. That itself is motivating young generation to do wonderful. Sky is the limit. Thank you, Padma Shri Venki. Namaskar. Over to
Sheshadripuram College.
Professor.
There is a question because nowadays we could see many, nowadays physically disabled. Earlier days it was like for physically disabled or physically challenged people, there was a different kind of or different schools or different. But now, because of the interventions of the government and well-hearted people, even physically challenged and physically disabled are joining with the mainstream. So now we have a question to you for the primary school or high schools. When physically challenged student comes, what are the avenues for them to go ahead? Is there any opportunities for them to go ahead and where they should get enrolled and they shouldn't be the laughing stock of the society. They, in fact, it should be the torch bearer of the society. And as you have proved it, as you have our Lakshmi sir have told, it's not you are under the mercy of the normal people. We call, in fact, the normal people are the one who is not good at all. The mentality should change. All we should be human. We should support each other. And that's how we want to know what is the role a physical teacher can play for upbringing of the physically challenged child, so that they live in the society by making their head high.
Major thing for the teachers is they have to identify first. They have to the management or whoever admits them. They have to identify what is his disability. If it is a wheelchair bound, major thing, now your college is also user friendly. The major is the toilet and the entrance should be wheelchair friendly for the people first. The second, the teachers who teaches them first to identify is a slow learning or medium, how it is. Some people, the students, all students are not one and the same. Some students are brilliant, some students are normal, some students are below average. So for all the things, first let the teachers ask how he is capable if he teaching them like that. And let them instruct their parents. See, whatever they teach on that day, let the parents support and help him to finish those chapters on the day to day. So it will be very easy and he should not get burdened about the studies.
Yes, sir. So we would like to even hear a few words from former coach of Sai, Lakshmi sir. What are the opportunities are there for the physically challenged children in the schools?
First of all, if they are towards sports or towards any humanities of life, there are openings now. Unlike earlier days, they have been neglected. They are kept as invalid. Those things days are over. Now they can come to the mainstream and they surpass many able people in their lifetime. So many opportunities. I'm more specifically towards sports. There are sports hostels, specialized sports training center, even to the international order center of excellence, and even for the Indian national team preparation or state team preparation, there are designated coaching camps for a stipulated period. There are competition up to Olympics. That is achievement side. Coming to the life making, there are reservations in some of the platforms and there are open challenge entry in many of the platforms. Like they can get into as a sports wing, they can get into railways, defense also they have opened a troop now. Like opportunities are plenty and it is not necessarily they have to pursue only the performance platform. They can be an allied science experts like sports psychologists, sports administrators, sports management, infrastructure advisors. So many platforms are there. Like any able person, only the mobility it should be there, no users friendly, like wheelchair should move. All those things have to be looked after by the organizers or so-called administration. So otherwise we don't have much no market line between able and differently able personalities today. That has become thin. The demarcation has become thin. So a total blind athlete, visually impaired, total blind, can sit and do a lot of computer work, data entry, the communication. So many things they are doing on the table. So n number of such skilled tasks they are very efficiently handling. And if it is not, though it is little away from career, I can proudly say that totally visually impaired athlete in 100-meter at world level can run 10.4 seconds 100 meters. Most of the athletes in our country is finding it, able athletes are finding it very difficult to finish 100 meters with that speed. Just imagine their capacity, capability, potentiality is much higher than able in many of the platforms. So the demarcation line, it was only a social myth that has to be changed. Mind of the parents should be changed and the teachers view on this differently able personality must be changed. It is only in the eyes of the society they are. Otherwise God has given them lot of capacity and they are not in the mercy of anybody. Only opportunity, a human this thing, no opening should be there for providing them an opportunity. Otherwise now career is almost same. There are n number of officers working, n number of teachers, n number of scientists, n number of. Now you can see there is an example right in front of us, Mr. Padma Shri Venki. He has achieved biggest civilian honor of the nation, and it's all his mindset. It is all his the craving for achievement and the determination. Only they have to be looked in as humans. That's all. That is the only appeal from my side.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, we are privileged.
Sir, add on. Sorry. Add on. Now, Sports Authority of India is also providing coaches job. I have got to know my younger 5 para athletes as a coaches. They were working with me. Padma Shri, Mr. H. N. Girish,
Surjit Singh.
and Mr. Surjit Singh, and
Parman Basha.
Mr. Sham, Parman Basha, and that lady weightlifting. Sorry, I forgot that.
Sachina Kotim.
Shekila. Yeah. So, yes, there are many para athletes or the coaches now. They are on the equal roles of Sports Authority of India. There is no discrimination, nothing. They are also equally important in making medal for the nation at Olympics level even. So there is another bigger opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you.
That's one more.
Yes, sir.
Let me thank Seshadripuram College management team, principal, staff, and PFI who has taken initiative in coordinating with all the international athletes. Our boss, Dr. Lakshmi, who was
He's the boss.
no, sir. Though you are you're my boss only in the sports, not in other things. So for calling me to this grand function, all the best. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. We wholeheartedly thank you for all the behalf of national and international bodies that Padma Shri K.Y. Venkatesh sir has enlightened us the difference, the efforts, the challenges, the motives of physically challenged, how they can overcome if proper support been given by from the able, so-called able people. So thank you, sir. Thank you wholeheartedly for your enlightened talk. Thank you, sir. Now I request our second speaker of the day, Mifta Madden. So I'd like to request Mifta Madden to kindly yes. So we have our next speaker, Dr. Miftakul Janab from Indonesia. She has done her college from Universities Gadjah Mada on psychology. Then she has done her field of science majoring from same university in 2002 and 4. And then she has done her thesis or dissertation on influence between moral discussion and moral simulation on moral reasoning in high school students. The effect of meditation, autogenic training on the increasing concentration in 100-meter short distance athletes, individuals. The role of self-confidence, concentration, emotional regulation, goal setting, and persistence on the achievement of individual 100-meter short distance running athletes. And her being professional organization, she is into different from 1997, and till date she has been actively participating, and she is into Association of Applied Sports Psychology International, Society of Sports Psychology, Indonesian Sports Mental Coach Association, Association of Mental Association Olahraga in Indonesia, Komite Olahraga Nasional Indonesia, and several organizations. She is an educator under Ministry of Education and Cultural Republic of Indonesia. Then research experience as well. She has and continuous community service she has been doing. She is into different publications, and let us, instead of her profile goes on for 14 pages. So if we start reading entire session, we'll get over. So I request wholeheartedly on behalf of Seshadipuram First Grade College, Seshadipuram Group of Institutions, and all other universities, joint supported and coordinators, we welcome you, madam, to enlighten us for this program with your talk, which has been inspiring Indonesian sports. Over to you, madam.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Santana. I will share screen to my paper. Okay. Excuse me, my voice
Yes.
is clear?
Yeah, it's clear. So you have to go for
Yes.
the slideshow, madam.
Okay. Thank you for my opportunity to present my paper with title APMOI, an application of mental skill training for Indonesian Paralympic athletes. So, Prof. Santana, I'm very pleased to join this forum. Okay, my outline paper, because the first introduction, because in second, I can tell about APMOI in Indonesians. The third, creating MST in Indonesian Paralympic athletes. And next, procedural MST, and the end with closings. So, in my introduction, more than 10 years, sports psychologists declared lack of professional and disciplinary attention paid to athletes with disabilities. Although progress has been slow, sports psychologists now working with athletes with disabilities and conducting research disability sport. As a result, a small but expanding body and examining mental skill used by athletes with disability in developing, as well as Indonesian too. The application of mental skill training in sport disability. I
Doctor,
can tell the story of Indonesian Sport Mental Coach Association.
doctor,
Based
doctor,
on need of sport
please,
community. Okay.
please start
Yes.
slides. Slideshow is to be placed.
Oh yes.
Slideshow. It is on a small screen.
So okay. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes, please
Yes.
carry on.
It's okay. Clear. Yes.
So,
Not it.
Yes.
Not it.
not
Not
yet.
Based on the need of
Yeah,
sporting.
correct. Absolutely fine.
Not yet. Oh.
Fine.
And my. Fine.
clear.
Okay. It is clear. And my laptop is clear.
It's clear. It's clear.
This is clear.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Yes. I continue. Yes. History of Indonesian Sport Mental Coach Association, we called APMOI. Based on need of sporting community, APMOI was established. APMOI is Asosiasi Pelatih Mental Olahraga Indonesian. In English is Indonesian Sport Mental Coach Association. This is very young organizations, professionals organization, just began at August 2016. So this is APMOI of launching at University State of Surabaya in October. Vision of APMOI become organization accommodate practitioner and activist sports coaches, athletes, parents, and reverse developing sport achievement. So, and my mission is strengthen of existence of sports psychology practitioner in the national and international scope. And two, develop professional quality of sports psychology practitioner in accordance with national international competence standards. And the third, fostering and developing the capacity of sport activism in terms of mental skill to support their technical abilities toward achievement. So, Apmoy complement with social media and Apmoy from FB, Facebook, Instagram, and we URLs and apmoy.org. So Apmoy works books just and 3 books and start begins out 16th. Based on Apmoy mission, one of them is to develop mental skill training for athletes with disability in Indonesia. So we create how about mental skill training procedure in athletes with disabilities just in Indonesia. So we make preparation procedure. The first preparation, this is we create 8 session. The first session and second session is procedure preparation. Just we first meet and meeting and observation in athlete. Second session, orientation for mental skill training. So procedure, the next procedure is program development. This is third session, understanding athlete with interview. Fourth session, understanding athlete with test or of performance, and MST program development. So next session, offering program, 6 session practice of SFT program. So application program in 7 session application of practice and 8 session application of final program and evaluation right after each athlete achieve a competition. So we know excellent need habituation. The application FMSC requires habituation. Because excellence is not an act, but an habit. So we need, so that the mental skill development of athlete needs to be recorded. So there are 3 stages of mental skill development. The first learning state development, the first time achieving athlete's mental skill, to practicing state development. This is athlete several times the athlete demonstrate ability of mental skill. And the third mastery state development is athlete are proficient, able to perform certain mental skill. So periodization of mental training of more version, we create to strengthen MST. I must synergize with physical and technical periodization. For that, Apmoy makes MST periodization. MST periodization is designed according to the need in Indonesian. So we create general. So in the first stage, interpersonal and commitment and positive attitude. And second period is this spatial period. This is mental imagery and self-talk. And third period, this is pra-competition. This is focus, management emotion, and management stress. So experience, how experience my experience Apmoy in Indonesia? Experience in an athlete, this is for table tennis. We following the development of the MST at the practice their own program. The aim of the program was to make the use the mental skill automatically. So the first category, we write routinity, daily activity for the athlete like this. Category, the day before competition, athlete, this is for routinities activity for athlete, this is sleep early, rise early. The night before competition, check tournament records. This is for look up videos, schedule opponents play, visualization playing against them and visualize winnings. So An arrival at the stadium, basic strength, practical technical skill, the waiting room before competition, athlete focus and himself, focus your play, focus your and extra, focus on physical and mental condition. So this is athlete recall the good feeling from practice and game strategies. So visualization winning game strategy against the opponents. Immediately figure competition, go for it. It's not big deal. Approach the table with a crown. At the service, always serve a backhand. She said deferred placement after studying opponent, seek racket back and forth, decisive dive after observing opponent position, bounce spell and serving. And the time out, when leading in point, keep focus. When behind in point, look at forward and ground to regain focus. When gaining a point, yell fighting. Yes, all right. Yes, losing a point, practice swing to regain focus. So, MST designed to, okay. MST designed to come close to experiencing actual competition. We create some describe vividness of competition in national championship week of possible. This is by effectively using all the mental skill. Before shipping, all active recited the words on the self-talk poster mentioned above at least time. They practice imagery and their peak performance. When athlete won a point, he crooned, ah. When he lost a point, he practiced his swing and said, focus on the ball, etc. Athlete using self-talk, and the more it's the athlete person, the reaction became more consistent. The keyword for athlete with this ability is consistent. That is routinous habit, routinous activity. So that example for the MST, mental skill training application that I can convey. That's my presentation. Hopefully useful and can open up opportunity for synergy with Apmoy and from Indonesia. Thank you so much for listening my presentation. So I give you back for Prof. Santanu. Thank you for much for Santanu.
Thank you, madam. So request
Thank you for times.
If you could stop sharing the screen, then we can. Yes, wonderful.
Yes.
So it was very short, crisp, and you have emphasized
Morning,
what all.
Sumendra.
Yes. So I would like to request if any participant has any queries, or you can send it to us during the entire program, because we know, because today we have 5 speakers, the time is little constrained, so we may not be able to take lots of questions, or in between, if you put questions, we will be able to put it to madam. And madam, we are really thankful that you have accepted and you have been supporting the Indonesian Olympian team by helping them to go ahead, and the work and the research what you are doing clearly indicates that how strenuous and how intensive you are into the coaching side. And we are really grateful, along with Suryanto sir, who has referred you as how greatly you are involved in creating Olympians from Indonesia. We wholeheartedly thank you on behalf of all the program organizers, joint organizers, collaborators, different universities. And yes, so there is a talk from question from Ganesh S. How much does self-talk can help the athletes gaining confidence? Self-talk can help athletes gain confidence.
Yes, thank you so much. And in Indonesian, we create 4 years to preparing competition like this. In 2021, we national championship. So we preparing to athlete for competitions for years. So we can create a periodization, synergizing with technical and practical, how to improve mental skill to achieving, to synergizing with technical and tactical. So in chat, we can how effectively self-talk to achieving motivation and self-confidence. And according my research, we just quantifying athletic self-talks, like just to we recording intrinsic self-talk, just quantifying, so like positive self-talk. This is to positive significance to improve self-confidence and motivation. In self-talk, there are two, motivational self-talk and instructional self-talk. Motivational self-talk is created to get athlete to increasing motivation with athlete, and instructional self-talk, this is to increasing confidence for athletes. So we program, we create, we designing periodization mental skill training for athlete. This is for, so just not for just KUSO program, but we complete this to coaching, like coaching, mental coaching in sport periodization. This is my answer, Prof. Santanu. Maybe this is help to describe and answer this question for Indonesian experience, maybe.
Okay, the next question is from Avir Guha. Is self-talk an intrinsic form of motivation? Self-talk an intrinsic form of motivation?
Yes, self-talk this is, and according my research, how to self-talk increasing motivation. This is self-talk. The first self-talk is increasing to inner motivation. So self-talk works like self-talk. We athlete can express this emotion. The athlete can including to setting the goal. So this is increasing to inner motivation athletes. This is according my experience in my research in Indonesian athlete, Prof. Santan.
Yes, thank you, madam. The last question
Is it?
the last question will be from Dr. S. Varalakshmi. Athletes practice their reaction time is more consistent. Athletes practice their reaction time is more consistent. What methods of coaching you have selected? What methods of coaching you have selected?
Yes, thank you, Prof. Thank you, Dr. Vala Laksmi, for your question. Athlete practice, their reaction time is more consistent. What method of coaching you have selected? Yes, from MST, according mental skill training program, so we create for for synergizing for routinity activity athlete, physical activity on like this for athlete to implementing mental skill athlete. So we choose Apmoy choose this is to like daily routinity for this, like self-talk, like mental imagery, like the breathing. Why? If athlete confused, so we must just deep breathings, we must just take release. So this is methods what we choose, Apmoy choose for coaching the daily activity for athletes. This is answered. I try to answer for Dr. Falalaksmi. Uh, Maybe I hope this is clear for Dr. Falalaksmi. Thank you for your question. Thank you for Santanu, Prof. Santanu.
Yes, madam. Thank you so much. So, in fact, she has acknowledged also. So we are thankful to you, ma'am, that you have taken your time and with your brief presentation, you have answered on the how an inner talk can help getting intrinsic values enhanced and self-motivation can. And always we understand, first it should be the seed when it sprouts, the first kick comes from inside. Once it gets motivated, inner motivation is there, then outer motivation will be more important to enhance the programs and all. So therefore, what I would like to tell you that the talk, what you have said and what you have encouraged us to input and get involved into will help us to understand that everybody should be self-motivated to take their country ahead in all the realms and spheres of the life. We wholeheartedly thank you on
Yes.
behalf of Seshadipram Educational Trust, Seshadipram First Grade College, North Bangalore Science Forum, Department of Physical Education and Sports, and all our joint collaborators and organizers for accepting our invitation. Thank you, madam, so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all. Thank you so much, Prof. Santanu. Thank you so much for the
Now I'd
opportunity.
like to request our next speaker from Ukraine, Olena Maslova, madam. Olena Maslova, madam.
Good day, dear colleagues. Do you hear me? I hope you hear me because I don't actually understand. Is it my voice? Do you hear
Yeah,
me?
your voice is clear, madam. Your voice is clear, but we can't see you, ma'am.
Thank you, Professor Santana. Dear colleagues, first of all, before I start my presentation, I want to thanks for organizers to my participation at this scientific forum. And actually, right now I try to demonstration my presentation. Just a second, please.
Yeah, ma'am. Before that, I would like to introduce you to our audience that our speaker, Maslova Olena Madden, who will be speaking on methodological aspects of health formation for the practice of adaptive physical education in school children, taking into account the endocrinological factors. She is in Deputy Head for Academic Affairs of the Department of Sports Medicine of National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sports, Associate Professor, PhD of Physical Education and Sports Science, and Speaker Education. She has from 2002 done her bachelor degree in National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sports, 2003 master degree from the National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sports, and specialization in sports psychology. 2000 physiology. 2011 she has done her dissertation for the degree of PhD in physical education sciences and sports on the topic spatial performance and functionality of young basketball players, taking into account the level of their biological maturation. 2020 private higher education establishment Kyiv Medical University. Her research interests women's sports, youth sports, adaptive physical education for school children with hearing infringement, endocrinological aspects of physical education and sports, and co-author as well as co-author for more than 90 scientific and educational works. So I wholeheartedly welcome you, madam, for this forum and request you to enlighten us with your wide research and inputs for building the physical as well as mental health of all the delegates, as well as the young budding kids.
Thank you, Professor Santanu. Actually, I want to present just a quite significant of our scientific activity on our department. But actually, right now, I wanted to introduce my university, actually the National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sport, and the history of our university back to the 1930, and right now it's one of the most it's a national university and the first university of the scientific research at the strategy science department for training for coaches for sports for athletes as well. And of course I want to tell that the pride of our university in the fact that many students and graduates became the
Madam, your
champions
slide,
and
we can't see the
winners.
screen, ma'am. Your slide, your
My
presentation.
slides my presentation is not works.
Yeah, it's not visible.
Oh, just a second, please. I try to do my best. Right now. Professor?
No. So one thing you can do, ma'am, you can stop sharing and again start. Let us see.
Okay, I try. Professor, the previous speaker is not finished the presentation. Professor Mifta.
Mifta, madam, can I request you now? Yes, madam. Now you can try, ma'am. Yes, now you can try.
Now
Yes,
you see my
wonderful.
presentation?
Yes, ma'am. Wonderful.
Okay, okay. And again, I'll start again. Okay, so this is our university, and as I told you before, that our university dates back from 1930, and the history is very wild, but the new page of our universities became from independence of Ukraine, and right now our university is the highest level of university. It's a national level, and we one of the most famous university in Ukraine and European as the university for high class athletes, for teaching, for education, first of all, and not only the sphere of physical culture and sports, also for physical therapy, sports management also too. And as I said, we proud, of course, our champions and prize winners of the Olympic and Paralympic Games, and the graduates of our students and graduates they are winners of most of 299, as you see, Olympic medals. And about our the sports medicine department. Our department was founded in the structure of university at 91, and there are also two main activities, as you see, the educational activities and scientific activities. And the educational activities includes three main themes. First, it's teaching disciplines for bachelors in physical culture and sports, the preparation of bachelors for healthcare field, its specialty public health, and preparation of graduates for the master degree of physical culture and sport. And the specialization of this master degree is sports management. It's called sports ecology. And our scientific activity includes four direction. First of all, and actually I want to say that my, as Professor Santu, when he presented me my first work, scientific work and PhD degree, was actually at this first direction. I mean that we're studying the preparing women athletes, the peculiarities of this preparing system. And the second one is the defining key factors for athletes overtraining. And the third one is exploring new methods and forms for recovery. And the last one, actually, it's today mine direction, development of implementation forming technologies for physical education of different population group. And right now I'll speak about the physical education. And this direction for our department includes three main steps. First of all, we talk about the general physical education. The aim of this direction is improving health and maintaining the ability to work and study. And this direction provides at the preschool institution physical education lessons in schools, and the section or different groups of general physical education for different groups of health. And the second one, it's a physical education with professional orientation. We speak about the preparing a person for their chosen profession. And this direction is more closer to the military rescuers and pilots. And this is a professional type of physical education. And the third direction is the direction about the sports orientation. The aim of the direction is physical education with the sports, provides the opportunity to specialize in the chosen form of exercise and achieve maximum results. And the structure of this physical education direction more closer to a sports training system. And actually, about expected and recommendation on the strategic development of physical education and sports training among youngs. First of all, for the period up to 2025 in our country, it's as you see, the main results must be considered the first of all, we need to achieve the new forms for physical education, and especially for the youngs. And we must increase in the number of youngs involvement in physical education and sports, and we should improve their skills. We should building the structure of their health way of life, and of course we should created the holistic system of defining talent students, youngs, and providing condition for development, performance, and national and international competition. And for our research today, we, according to these main aims, we try to find the new results, and these results became from studying, and the study involved 200, as you see, 233 pupils, 17 years old, and this is the different groups. These groups with the children with hear impairments, because why these children? Because in our country it's very important today to try pay attention for these groups. These groups children actually a long time were without close system for new methods and form of physical education and sports. And right now we try to provide the new forms of physical education and their process of physical culture for this group of children. And as you see, we try to connect these groups. We divided this group for 8 different group using the age factors, using the factors of stage of hearing impairments, and actually using the sex divisions. And right now you see our structure of our studying. We have a problem. We have a terrible impairment level of knowledge, and actually we defined the frequencies for developing the concept of health forming technology in the process of adaptive physical education. And this there rise, you see, 4 frequencies, 4 groups of frequencies. And actually right now I'll speak more about these groups. First of all, we speak about social frequencies, and the social frequencies we defined from the speaking, and actually it was the main question for these groups of children, and actually the parents of these children, how the actually they understood the their around searching around their life. And as you see, first of all, I want to say that we found that only 20% of hard-hearing boys and hard-hearing girls actually completely satisfying with their living and learning condition. And actually it's not depending from the age, it's not depending from the level of heart impairment, as you see, and it's a green light. So not even we can say that only 20% of children from this main number of school from the pupils, they are satisfy their living conditions and learning conditions. And the parents, as you see, this is the answers of parents, and as you see, the parents also accept this mark. And actually after that we try to find the analyzed the biological preconditions, and first of all I want to say that we used the our methods. These methods includes the complex of different marks, and we calculated the indicators of Catley index, Robinson index, life index, power index, and after that we they connect in the mark of somatic health. And this mark has, as you see, 5 levels. And unfortunately, we should satisfy that from all of the number of these pupils, only, as you see, only six, about 7% have the high level of somatic health. And the most of all, of course, has the average and below average level. And of course, it's satisfied that we have not only social but biological approach to find a new way, new form for physical education for this groups pupils. After that, we try to understand the characterization, the personal preconditions of our concept of health formation for this contingent, and also we try to ask them how they understood actually use how they can use the practice skills for physical education in their own life. And as you see, unfortunately, we understand that not much student can use the sufficient level, couldn't use the practice skills. They don't understand why they go into the lessons for physical education, why they should use the different system, why they should use the sports, for what they going to these lessons. And the last one, peculiarities, it's the ecological peculiarities, and we try to conduct the environment assessment, and we first of all we looked at the status of each institution, and we understood that they are not acceptable because they have very high level environment systems. And as you see, they are presented on these slides. I want to say that this institution are below from the big radius of highways, and they are below to the housekeeping and keeping of livestock, And also we understood that the environment assistance is not available for this contingent. And of course, after that, we understood that we should prepare new forms of physical education with, which connect all these peculiarities together. And the first our pedagogical experiment was including the development and testing technologies. You see this technology in this slide. Of correction indicators of physical condition, these school children, environments by means of tourists all around. This technology provide the new system of physical education. It's moved the special models. These special models concludes 6 blocks, and also concludes the new form of digital intelligence. We mean information and methodological program, Motus Vita. And during this experiment, we understood that we find that it was very effectively because, as you see, we used the different groups, control and experimental groups, and different sex groups for boys and girls groups. And as you see, we have a good opportunity to increase the level of somatic health for these contingents. And the pedagogical experiment number 2 was propose the technology correction of risk average of echoconductual pathology, indicators of somatic health for children of 50 years old. And this technology includes the physical education program with 3 blocks. As you see, we used a different kind of physical ability, swimming and water games, cyclical orientation in the open air, with during field trips, and the load of variable power and game orientation under the condition of wearing inclusive clothing. So after that, we defined that the main factor for us was the level of hard metal in the urine probes, and we find that this level is going down after the using these technologies. And it was for us the highest level of our scientific approach. And actually right now we try to prevent this technology in the system of physical education, not only for pupils with different problems. I mean, not only for deaf people, not only for hard hearing people, but also not only in a system of adaptive physical education. We all try to propose this technology and others technology to the system of physical education in a different groups. So this is the end of my report. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you have a question, and I'll try to answer this question. Thank you very much.
Well, Professor Shantanu,
Yes. Yes, Olina Madam.
Professor Santana, thank you
Yes,
very
yes,
much.
I am here. So I'd like to request the participants that if you can ask the questions, or you put in the chat box so that we can take up the questions and we can ask our madam. In fact, it is so heartening to see that you have physically challenged kids you have been training and you have been working with. Yes.
I can ask? I can answer, yes?
Yeah, one second. So dear participants, if you have any queries, please do put in the chat box, which has been enabled. We request you to ask questions. Yeah, what is the best way to tackle depression in sports? From Mr. Vinish. What is the best way to overcome depression?
Depression in sport? It's it's a question for me, I suppose, right, Professor?
Yes, it is a question to you.
Okay, for my opinion, and actually we have the scientific research in this direction, but not unfortunately for the athletes. We try to find the answer for this question during the actually deaf pupils, and we find that first of all, the depression, we try to understand the mechanism of depression, because for the pupils, for the deaf peoples, of course, depression is connected with the problems to meaning understanding. And of course, for sports, we should say that for athletes, we speak about the results, first of all, because for from our opinion, the results, our own results for athletes, it's most of all meaning in their preparation system. And right now we have the research, Connect Research, our Department of Sports Medicine and Department of Psychology. Of course, we try to find the new system of preparation for the women athletes, and at the theme of the after COVID, post-COVID field, because the actually depression, one of the post-COVID field character factor, which we find in our athletes, women athletes, and right now we try to find the way, and one of the factor which we should actually complete, it's the first of all using the self-made assistant. That's first of all. And actually right now we want to use the pharmacology for correction the depression style and or overtraining process too, actually. And I see another.
Yes, ma'am. The next question is.
Question for me?
Yeah.
Right?
The next question is from Dr. Varalakshmi Madam. Self-assessment of practical skills of hearing impaired student. What are all the problems you faced during the study, and what is the purpose of this study?
Just a second.
Dr. S. Varalakshmi. Self-assessment of practical skills of hearing
I see.
impaired students. Yeah.
And actually about the self-assessment, self-assessment will try to understand how these children, because we have a different age children, how they understood actually the practical skills which they define from physical education system, because they must not only understand what is this, they must use in their performing life, and they must use for the forming of a healthcare life. They must understand how they try to organize their daily life using these knowledges. And of course, first of all, we're trying to understand, do they know this information? They try or not. Actually, that is why we try to find it, and we find that unfortunately this contingent of these pupils, these children, are not understand actually the aim of physical education. They do not use actually self-made skills, the physical skills, the mental skills. They are have no even opportunity to use it. So first of all, we should try, that's why we build our technologies. First of all, we should try to keep this knowledge together for them. The second step, we should give them the new forms of physical education, new interesting form physical education, that's to increase their motivation. And the third step, they should learning how to use this new form for their own life, for their daily life, and not only in the lessons of physical education, and help not only for themselves, but also help to another pupils also to understand the meaning of physical education. This is the self-assessment of practical skills for us was during our researches. And another question, as I see, how can we encourage children with multidisciplinary disabilities for participations in sports? Actually, it's a good question, because we first of all try to understand what kind of sports they likes. We during our researches, we ask them what kind of sports they likes, and what kind of sports they see in as athletes, as they were athletes. And they said that first of all, they like the martial arts, they like the sports games, as the basketball, the volleyball, and also they very likes tourism, and tourism all around, as I said. That's we used this answering, and build the technology. You saw this technology, it's technology with tourism all around. And actually another one of another technologies, I didn't represent it in my report. We build the technology of a new kind of sport, not new kind of sport, I mean the street ball, or as we called it, basketball 303. And actually we try to accept this kind of sport for this contingent, and we propose them not only use this kind of sport as athletes, but also we propose them use this kind of sport as referees, and they try to achieve skills not only as athletes, as a coach, but also as a referee. And you see, this technology had a good efficiency, and right now we also build the model system for physical education, and in this model system we provide this system basketball 303 with referees skills. So it's one of the steps, it's one of the way to try to connect the sport with these children, with these children with problems, with hair problems. And another question. Most of these especially young athletes find difficult to get along with senior disability athletes in terms of performance. As a coach, how to build their confidence and motivate them to perform better. You see, this contingent is very sensibilities, and first of all I want to say that we have a big problem actually with children who has option as athletes, because we try to understand, even we have aggressive assessment from these children. Why? Because they have social problem with sociality. Actually, I want to say that even we have sportsmen with a heart with hair impairments, they lives and have an education system in special institutions, and these special institutions is far from the community of family, of parents system, and actually these children from the young age became the own person, which must understand that their life depends only from his own encouragement level. That is why they accept the environments, social environments, and the environments of team environments very aggressive, because they are not open persons, then unfortunately closed persons. And so, first of all, we try to connect them with the collective, with the team connection, a connection between the coach, connection between the team makers, with the friends, and of course try to combine this as a self-mesa system. This is first step when we try to find the connection with these personalities. This is the first of all. And I think this
Yes.
is,
So
that's all question, right? Professor Santau, right?
yes, madam.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank
So
you very much.
yeah, we would like to thank you, ma'am, wholeheartedly. And
Thank
we are indeed privileged that Ola madam has introduced you to us. and Alexander Andres Valeri, sir, the Olympian silver medalist who is a crown in our program. And all you from Ukraine has taken pain to address us, and you have taken up the most important about the physically challenged kids, how you had been working with to support, and how the research has enabled to enhance the different kinds of activities and to bring them to mainstream. On behalf of Seshadipuram Group of Institutions, all the universities, associate, all the collaborators, all the print and media from the Ministry of Sports and Youth in India and Ministry of Sports and Youth Indonesia, and the universities from Ukraine, Sharjah, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Malaysia. Thank you wholeheartedly for accepting our invitation and addressing us. Really, we are indeed privileged to hear you, madam. Thank you so much. God bless you. See you soon. Post-pandemic, we'll have the collaborative work going on. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now I request our next speaker, is Dr. Somendra Sahaji. Somendra Saha, sir, Professor Somendra Saha, who is a consultant, sports physiologist, psychobiologist, and lifestyle training expert. He belongs from a professional exclusively focused on assuring excellence in orienting, teaching, training, and counseling, with approximately 28 years of experience in research, personal management, supervision, leadership skill training, stress management, and self-regulation training. Spearheads the international custom-driven focus on the service quality, improvements in organizing and supervising administrative activities, entailing event management, like conducting various workshops, trainings, and seminars, and organize various international conferences. Highly recognized from disseminating research outcomes in commended internationally indexed research publications and edited book publications, and in providing consultation to the clients relating to stress management, well-being, health, and self-regulation awareness and training. Previously attached with University Science Malaysia, ranked 49th in the Asia 2015 as senior faculty in the sports science program, psychology, sports physiology. As the key functionary in planning, designing, and strategizing core activities with a track record of implementing operational policies, norms, research and guidance, motivational schemes, and education standards, and during the career span. As an author and co-author, published more than 105 scientific research articles. As a research project investigator, as the principal research investigator, he was successful in achieving internationally famous research grants with over USD 98,975, equivalent to more than 7.47 million Indian currency, and more than USD 48,965, equivalent to 3.69 million INR as a co-investigator. As a postgraduate research guide, supervised doctoral research and 8 international candidates, 4 as the main supervisor and 12 master scholar, 3 as the main supervisor. And his profile is too big, and just we have given a shot as a consultant expert. He is into New Zealand, Zimbabwe cricket team, and he was in International Cricket Council World Cup One Day International Cricket Tournaments, 2011 World Cup Cricket Tournament, professional applied sports psychology, and he is into the national and international sports in Indian subcontinent, India, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Bhutan, in games like soccer, field hockey, tennis, cricket, shooting, basketball, boxing, swimming, and athletic events. We are indeed highly privileged and extremely grateful to Somendranath Saha sir from Bangladesh to accept our invitation and getting tied up us with IUBAT and CAAB Bangladesh. Over to you, sir. Thank you so much. We request you to enlighten us, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. So I'm trying to share the slides. I never present in Zoom platform. Probably it is going to work. Okay. Can you
Yes.
see my slides?
Yes.
First one.
It has
Okay.
just started sharing screen.
Okay. Is it okay now? Okay.
Yes, sir. Wonderful.
Okay. Okay. So good morning to everyone. I believe it's good afternoon here, but good morning in India, in Bangalore. Okay. Good morning still. Okay. So thanks, Professor Shantanu. It's a great pleasure to be in the platform in this situation. And you just gathered a lot of people. All our ex collaborators are here. Prof. Dr. Alexander and Prof. Dr. Juan Rosley, Prof. Our good friend and collaborator, Prof. Dr. Hairul Anwar Hasim, our student, Prof. Dr. Adam, and Prof. Mifta from Indonesia, also our collaborator. A lot of people are here. Okay. And today's speaker was Mifta. Okay. Thanks to Mifta that she admitted here, she presented here. I could listen to her presentation. And also Prof. Olna was there from Ukraine. Okay, so thanking all of you and all the learned delegates. I'm starting. It's okay. It's a positive. Well, a little bit about myself. I'm a very talkative person. Okay, I'll be keeping on talking. Okay, please bear with me. Okay, positive mental health. My topic is positive mental health and healthy lifestyle as function of sustainability amid COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm attached with University, International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology in Dhaka, Bangladesh. Well, a little bit information about me. Okay. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, because I'm not a Bangladeshi professor. I'm very much from India. I worked everywhere in the world, started from everywhere in India and also in Bangladesh. Worked in Canadian University and US for 7 years, and then 9 years in Southeast Asia, in Malaysia mostly. Worked with collaborators in Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, everywhere, and now in Bangladesh for last 2 years. So anyway, little bit information about the university. This is the university, and it's a green environment designed to educate. Okay, so now we are talking about sustainability. Okay, who is concerned about the sustainability? Everyone, the world. I have some doubt. We are really concerned about ourselves, not sustainability of the. Okay, there is a problem here. I'm getting in Zoom. Some people are entering, and I have to approve.
No, you need not to do, sir.
Okay. So anyway, so we are getting like information from where people are talking about sustainability. Well, who are concerned? Ourselves. We are concerned. All of us are concerned, or we are thinking about ourselves, sustainability of self. Whether I can sustain. This is a question, probably. That's what. Well, but what is the real scenario? Real scenario is not quite okay for all of us. Why? Because a lot of people are lacking in information. How many? I'm talking about when I'm talking about a lot of people, almost everyone in the world, bearing few slender percentage of people who are not that much, who are totally concerned about this realistic scenario. Apart from that, a lot of people are very much lacking in information. That's why they're behaving like reckless or reality. They lack in reality consciousness. What is the realistic situation is the question. We see a lot of people are very much daring and reckless and risk-taking. These people, a lot of people are very much risk-taking, and they're not caring for anything. And others are concerned and worried and afraid. Okay, and yes, I beg your pardon for others, those who don't know Bengali. Here is something written by the Nobel laureate poet Rabindranath Tagore. Okay, it is all about people think of death. People are concerned about death. People are concerned every day, every moment about the death, and they are not serious about that. It is something told over here. Okay. So now the question is that majority of the population, I'm talking about the educated population all over the world, they are lacking. And why they are worried? Because they think that healthcare facilities are not enough. Others are enjoying, partying, camping, doing everything, enjoying everything. So for us, both for us in Indian subcontinent, particularly, maybe all over the world, this concern is these situations are true for all of us. Maybe all of us are in very much problematic and alarming situation. Okay. Now, what is the common belief? What people are thinking? What they are doing and what to do? People are consuming antioxidants. Okay, like anything, they are buying and consuming immunoboosters sporadically. Okay, whether it has got any, whether there is any empirical evidence that these are immunoboosters and anything like this immunoboosting situation works, people don't know. But people are going for the Googling and they're trying to find out things and they're buying and consuming and they're creating their problem by doing that. Okay, and getting sucked into the crisis. And what is that? It is a lot of people are cleaning everything. Okay, and you see that 99.99% of bacteria and viruses are killed by some detergents and other things and floor cleaner. Everything we see campaigning in television every day, maybe 200 times. Okay, the question is that they're still keeping 0.001% of bacteria and virus. Okay, that's good for the bacteria and virus. Well, but doing all these things, are we safe? Are we safe? And what we think, if we can do all these things, then we should be quite okay. We shouldn't have any problem. But still problem is there. Still problem persists. What is the problem? Problem is there. Okay, that people, I'm talking about some psychological phenomena, because basically I'm a psychologist and sports psychologist. Task difficulty and luck. A lot of all over the world, people are segregated in two ways actually. How we are being controlled. A lot of people think that they are being controlled by some situation, nature, maybe almighty, or maybe luck and other things, and task difficulty. They perceive the task is difficult. Okay, they perceive that they are not lucky enough. Okay, well, and some others are there. Well, this number is reducing day by day. Those who believe in their ability, they are confident, they believe in their ability and their effort level. These numbers are reducing day by day. Well, but why it is being reducing? Because we are living in a society that is controlled by Facebook. We are not face to face. Okay, it's a selfie-dominated world. Okay, now if in this selfie-dominated world, you see, if Mona Lisa would have been here, Mona Lisa would have been taking selfie and in COVID-19 unsmiling way. So this could be the situation. And what do you see here? Can you see all these things? People are bowing. Okay, they all are with phone, engrossed with cell phones. Millions of researchers are there all over the world are coming out, and people are talking about the problems pertaining to the non-ionizing radiation, or a kind of little bit of ionizing or quasi-ionizing radiation because of the 5G or 4G or internet or Wi-Fi or cellular system, all the other things. People are talking a lot of things. People are concerned. Okay. And a huge number of doctors, particularly gynecologists and neurologists, are saying that we should refrain from using cell phone that much. But people are all the way like this. If we talk about kids, small kids, well, I'm talking about as we walk everywhere. I'm talking about in Europe and in North America and in Southeast Asia, in India, in Bangladesh, everywhere you see that small kids are engaged. They are also engaged with cell phone. Okay, it is not a normal situation. Can you see me or can you see the slides? I'm not sure actually.
Yes, sir, we can see.
Okay, fine, no problem. So these are not the normal situation. But why people do that? The question is that, well, we see a lot of people are doing. Well, we don't do, but a lot of people are doing it. Why people are do that? People talk about stress. Well, a lot of people talk about stress. Well, if stress is there, then what do we see in the pandemic situation? What particularly? Quite a few thousand researches were carried out, research experiments were carried out during this pandemic situation on stressful situation, and huge, most percentage of the movies people saw in Netflix and all other, or in the webs or anywhere else, people are watching horror films. People are watching films on haunted houses and other things, ghosts and other things, horror films and thrillers, crime thrillers or thrillers, suspense films. Okay, so if people are stressed, then why this is the mostly viewed material? Okay, document. Well, so it's a question that people are stress lovers as well. Now let's go through the detail of stress and cause of stress a little bit. Very fast, I will go for that. Stress. If we talk about stress, S comes out of struggle for existence. People all survival crisis. All are doing like this. T, trouble, time management, tension. R, rigidity. A lot of people are rigid and restless. They are more stress prone. Emotional overloading is there. Sense of insecurity, sensitivity, sluggishness, shyness. All these are precursor of stress. Now let's go to the why my slides are not moving. What's the problem with that?
No, sir, slight stress, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, stress could be two types. Well, one is negative stress, distress. People talk about distress only, but there is also eustress, challenging stress. If we talk about problem, what is your problem? People think about stress. That means distress, negative stress. But if I perceive that something is very, very, very difficult for everyone, but could be possible by anyone, somebody may make it possible. That's eustress. The challenging stress, challenging the problem is stress, positive stress. That is eustress. Now let's look at this phenomena a little bit. If we talk about negative stress, there are ways. Those who are in negative stress, they perceive problems among all sorts of opportunities. But those who are in positive stress, they find out opportunities in all difficulties. And rigid people, cognitively more flexible, time management problem. When these people, eustressful people, they see the time is limited, they feel challenging. They enjoy that. Feeling of insecurity for them, they always feel secure. These guys easily get frustrated. They never feel frustrated. Sensitive, touchy, they are not. They ignore all the conflicts. Negative approach to life, always positive. That's how always apprehension. They always have apprehension of failure. They never feel like that. They cannot accept challenges. They always accept challenge and enjoy challenging situations. Well, few other things. This. What happened? Well, loss of attentional focus, lacking self-confidence, but these guys are always confident. Emotional problem, gastrointestinal problem, all the psychosomatic problem, they don't have any kind of psychosomatic problem, and they enjoy being in stressful condition. That's the difference between stressful people and those who enjoy stress. That means eustressful people. What to do? Having positive attitude is very much important. Well, you cannot buy it. You cannot buy positive attitude. You have to develop it on your own within yourself, and you have to learn things. And obviously psychological skill training programs are there, but everybody doesn't need to go to psychologist. We are being psychologists, we are working in this field for 35 years. I'm saying that clearly everybody doesn't need to go to psychologist. They need to do something they can do easily. Well, awareness of self that anybody can develop if they talk to themselves, if they try to see themselves. Time management, proper exercise habits, that's the things. Food habits, proper food habits. That means not unnatural food, natural food. Sleep hygiene, need to sleep a lot. Okay, need to sleep for 7.5 to 8 hours per day. And early sleeping and early waking up is very much important. And disciplined lifestyle. This is the motto. Well, let us have a little idea on psychobiological stress and psychological level of stress. How psychobiology talks about that. Usually, you see, this is the old continuum. We're talking about fear. If somebody is in fearful situation, flightful idea or fighting attitude. Okay, now if parasympathetic activation goes high, the fearful person, once parasympathetic activation goes high, becomes restful and they can digest. And there is another continuum that goes to excitement. So there is a different model. It's cube model, Loveheim's cube of emotion model. You see, and here it is talking about different phenomena. Okay, and goes up and dopamine goes up, serotonin goes up. All these changes are there. Now here on those things and emotions, emotional feelings, neuroendocrinological elements. So all the neurotransmitter agents. We told all these things. We clearly made it here in there. But it is a very short time for all of us to go through those things. Okay. But here, based on numerous researches, quite a few, we carried out about 38 researches here. These are the indexed researches. We could find out some relationships. Okay, what are those? Serotonin, here dopamine and noradrenaline level. These three basic neurotransmitter agents, and we are trying to talk about those as soon as possible. What is a neutral feeling? That means it is this is kind of going on, okay type of feeling. That means these all are in moderate level. Serotonin, dopamine, and noradrenaline. It changes when somebody is in depression. Few minutes back, somebody was asking about depression. Serotonin level in the medium level, dopamine is less, and noradrenaline level is lower. Sadness, serotonin goes up. Dopamine also goes a little bit up, but noradrenaline goes down. And here, shameful feelings. Serotonin goes down, dopamine also and noradrenaline all are lower than moderate level. And feeling of contempt changes, everything changes here. Serotonin goes up, dopamine goes up, but noradrenaline goes down. These are less intense feelings of negativity. I'm talking about negativity because we are more concerned about negativity. If people are in positive sense and people are very happy, people are not worried about that. Disgust. When people feel disgusted, a common belief is that serotonin works for us. Okay. A lot of people have an idea that how to develop serotonergic activation. It's the wrong idea. So peak level of serotonin actually with accompanied by lower level of dopamine and little bit higher level of little bit higher than moderate level of dopamine, noradrenaline. People feel disgusted. In anxiety, serotonin is lower, dopamine is lower, fine. Noradrenaline goes up. People only think about anxiety, but other things, if you talk about other emotional changes, that creates more difficulty and that leads to anxiety. Okay, so the precursor of anxiety is other things. Well, serotonin is lower. When serotonin is lower and dopamine is very high and noradrenaline level is also lower, then people feel fearful. Okay, for the anger, these three are different. You see serotonin lower, a little bit higher dopamine, and noradrenaline is also higher, but it is intense feeling of negativity. Now, let's come back to the question of kind of positivity. Serotonin is high, dopamine is low, and noradrenaline is high. Okay, is there happily, if you talk about happy, surprising situation, but for happiness, well, serotonin is higher, dopamine is higher, but noradrenaline should be lower. And for the sense of love, serotonin, dopamine all works, and little bit more than average level of noradrenaline is also required. But for pride, all these things should have up to top level. Okay, these are the research findings we got out of these neurobiological and neuroendocrinological changes. Now, once again, slides are not coming. Okay, well, this is Plutchik's very big research work on emotional wheel were taken care of by Plutchik, and all the emotional experiences were in this from the core emotion, outer fear, it is coming more more secondary emotion and tertiary level emotion and all these things, and how far these neurobiological changes and neuroendocrinological changes are there attached with that. We did the research on that, and we pointed it out here. And now let's go to, we spoke about neuropsychology, we spoke about neuroscience and neuroendocrinology. Let us give some information, core concepts of psychology. What is that? Well, if we talk about core concept of psychology, well, particularly cardiologists, those who are senior level of cardiologists, international level of cardiologists, in the core book of cardiology, it has been propagated by World Health Organization, ICD, and they propagated this in what we need to understand. In the physical domain, people need to be physically flexible. That means not moving. That flexibility we are talking about. Physical flexibility is homeostatic level flexibility, in the control of maybe temperature, control of inner mechanism, physical mechanism, gastrointestinal, cardiovascular, pulmonary, neurobiological, neuroendocrinological, renal, everything flexible. That means according required adaptation. Okay, adaptation according to the situation. The flexible person gets adapted first. That's what is very much important. Well, next comes endurance. Well, a lot of people are not paying attention to endurance at all. Common people usually, earlier people used to walk for getting water, maybe 2 miles or 3 miles. Now everything is in your own reach. So it is not for urban people or those who are in the affluent society. Endurance, strength, all these things are really invisible. In mental domain or psychological, emotional, or cognitive domain, mental flexibility, that means cognitive flexibility, emotional flexibility, attentional span, how to utilize the attention, when you have to narrow down it, and you are not narrowing it too much so that you are choking, or when you are broadening it, your attentional span, you are not missing the specific cues. You are maintaining your ability to focus and incorporate decisions, particular decisions on particular level. Emotional domain, specifically emotional flexibility. We are human being. We are more emotional and emotionally driven. A lot of us are only emotionally driven, not cognitively driven. So our cognition, if it is not adequately supported by perceptual elements and decision makings and cognition, if doesn't control our emotionality, then we are in trouble. But it is happening. Now emotions are controlling ourselves. Wrong perception, faulty perception, misperception, and emotionally driven lifestyle, these are creating more problem. So emotional adaptation is gone. Emotional flexibility is gone. People are going more emotionally constrictive. So that means positive outlook also goes off, and self-regulation is not there. But if anybody can maintain all these things properly, no problem at all. Here, spiritual domain, people are talking about spiritual domain, but not, it is not that theosophical spiritual. That means ethics. It's a very big concern right now. People are not paying attention. Children are not being taught morality. In the houses, in the households, common households, the common way of teaching ethics or moral training are gone, actually. So people are not getting, these children are, and human being, all of us are not ethically very much flexible. That means we are either ethically very much rigid or unethical. Okay. So commitment to values, and very important is that tolerance of others' values and beliefs. We are not tolerant. Most of us are not tolerant about others' values and others' beliefs. This is a very much big concern. If we have this physical, mental, or that means emotional and spiritual, all things together, then a person becomes in coherence, a person becomes resilient. That means can adapt to any crisis at all, can adapt to any physical, any biological, any maybe virological, any kind of crisis, any emotional kind, and won't have any question of stress, won't have any question of any fear or anything. The person will be completely, adequately safe enough. Okay, and can teach others how to remain safe, how to remain free, and how to lead from the front. Okay, that is what we are missing in this world. And what to do is a question. What to do? Yeah, slides are not moving properly. Yeah, look at this kid. Oh, what do you see?
Yes, yes, sir.
Do. Live a life like this. And can you see this one? This lady, 96 years old, a winter marathon runner. When it is outside minus 35 to minus 40 degrees, she runs. She leads a team of runners. So age is not a bar at all. Age is nothing. Well, anyway, all of us need to be like this, okay? And can you see this man here? This is me, myself. Well, I was also flying. If you need to fly, you can do that, okay? Well, what we can do, what we can teach to the youngers. That's what we teach. This is our classroom. We teach. There is no chair. A big hall, very big hall, where 300 students can stand and can work, physical activities and other things. So our sessions, lifestyle training sessions, based on physiology, biomechanics, a little bit of psychological implications, little bit of lifestyle ethics, and everything, morality and all teachings and everything, basically lifestyle, but everything is on active living. There is no chair. So we take care of classes, 6 to 7 hours classes, without sitting, throughout the day, without sitting. There's no chair. Okay. So, yes, anybody saying anything? Hello? So, well, okay, this is, well, I'm a sports psychologist, and okay, we took care of the Bangladesh cricket team when in 2010 they got defeated in England, devastated series, and they came here, and I was trying to take care of them. What we did, we took care of them. We understood the physiological, psychological, biological makeup, and we designed something. We taught them in the lab, in the clinic, and also in the systems like this. What physically they do, these things we taught them, and they defeated New Zealand team 4-0. 4 in One Day International in 2010. That is the first time Bangladesh team developed in a different ODI team. Well, before that, in 2007 World Cup, people may remember that India got defeated by Bangladesh in the World Cup in 2007. Okay, so this is triumphant victory they had in 2010 when we had to take care of them, and we taught them how to control themselves, and they defeated New Zealand 4-0, and then the Zimbabwe team 3-1, and then that's how the change in Bangladesh team came out. Well, then we were attached with the University of Science Malaysia in Malaysia. We couldn't continue with them for a longer period, but we still keep in touch with them. Well, and they are changing themselves. What everybody can do that. I'll take one more minute. What everybody can do. Our problem is that we are sitting too much. Yeah, I don't like to say it that much, and that's what I told them. And also we are in the virtual conference, we are talking, sitting in a sitting posture. These all are creating biggest problem. All different kind of problems are there, and in our modern society, people are more inactive. People are sitting too much, not even sleeping a lot, but sitting a lot. Okay, this is something. Well, next one is that on how people are walking. These are we are collaborators in our research studies are going on in this. We are collaborators with some kind of researchers. My slides are giving me big trouble. No, it is no. Movement of slides are very much difficult. When we walk, that's how the gait changes and the muscles walk like this. And these are simple walking and running. These kind of activities can change everything for all of us. We don't need to do a lot of things, but for the younger people need to know. Well, I'm not talking about younger people. Younger people means those who are up to 90 years old or 100 years old. Okay, so that they are also younger. Okay, so these guys need to. Nothing is working. That's the problem. All the videos are not working. I'm sorry about that. Videos are not working. That's the problem. I guess here, if you can see that this is a wrong way of doing activities. The right way of doing activities are there. Okay, people have a very less information about those things. And advanced work, if somebody wants to do, this is my last slide. If somebody wants to carry out advanced exercise, then can carry on like this. Well, any elderly people can do that, and this is a little bit of advanced activities. People can do a lot of things like this. Those who are very much serious, they can do it like that as well. All these things are possible for all of us. Well, sorry for the last slides problems, and well, ready for the questions. Well, Dr. Jed. Yes. I can see the Dr. Jade has raised the hand. Maybe the questions are there.
Dr. Jade, we'd like to request if you can put the questions in the chat box. The reason is if we unmute one by one, no, so that will be a problem. So please put in the chat box.
Okay.
Request Dr. Jade to kindly put your question in the chat box. And request, sir, if you can.
Yeah, I'm just going through the chat box.
No, sir, I request you to come out of the share screen. If you can stop the share screen.
Okay. Share screen, I have to come out. Okay.
Stop the share screen on the top, no? You will get the option.
Stop share. Okay. Yes. Because I never use
Yes, sir. Now,
Zoom.
fine.
Yeah, okay. Anyway.
The first question is from Vinish. How to get rid of depressions in life?
Yeah, I think the same question was asked earlier as well.
Yeah.
Depression is I'm not sure about the background of the person who asked the question. If the person is psychiatrist or psychologist, then he will understand things in some way. But commonly people have a very wrong idea about depression. Well, I heard about, I took care of a few thousand of people all over the world. People ask that, well, I am passing through depression. What is the problem? Tomorrow I have exam. Oh, you are not prepared. No, I'm totally prepared. Then why you are depressed? What is your depression? No, tomorrow I have the exam. So it is not depression. It's maybe anxious. Well, if somebody is talking about really depression, then I showed you in the slides the changes in the neuroendocrinological level. Simply for anyone, if somebody is passing through depression, if somebody only walks 35 to 40 minutes walking, serious 35 to 40 minutes walking without using cell phone, okay? Cell phone should be off, okay? 35 to 40 minutes, 4 days per week. 4 days per week is the best way. It works much better than any antidepressant or anxiety depression. Okay, it works much better, and not much better. It works naturally much better. Okay, and sustainably much better. So without having any medicine, if somebody walks 35 to 40 minutes, little bit of brisk walking. I'm not talking about brisk walking. 35 to 40 minutes of walking, 4 days per week. If somebody continues, in 2 weeks, the person can get rid of the problem of depression, the depressive feeling. And if that works, and the person needs to continue like this, okay. And if it is anxiety depression, that means the precursor is anxiety. Somebody is anxious, then the speed must be different, and there must be something different. And depression, some people are depressive. Well, some people are this morning, Prof. Mifta presented something, and somebody asked that about the self-talk. Okay, self-talk is only a psyching up strategy. Okay, the psyching up. So if somebody is in depressed mood or depressed situation, that means the person is psyched down. The person can talk to himself or herself. Where lies my problem? Why I'm feeling depressed? Because I'm comparing against others. If I compare my situation as poorer, as less worthy compared to others, then only I may feel depressed. Otherwise not. Well, I'm not a king. I don't need to be king. Well, I don't have two airplanes. Okay, I don't need. I don't have any car. I don't need. I have myself. I have my 2 hands and 2 legs, eyes and ears, and I have my intelligence and my education, my experience, my physical strength, and my knowledge and experience with me. I can lead from the front. I can teach the whole world. Where lies my depression? There's no question of depression. Okay, so I guess we can talk about that for 2 hours only on depression. Okay, but please, we need to talk on other topics as well. Okay, So next one, Prof.
Yes, the next question is from Jade, Dr. Jade.
Yeah.
Is mass media responsible for not developing spiritual domain in younger generation?
Well, I'm not sure Dr. Jade is talking about spiritual domain means spirituality. If the person is talking about, Dr. Jade is talking about theosophical level or ethical level. Because the spiritual level we talk about in science is ethical. If we talk about ethical or moral development, definitely I'll be saying that, well, mass media has a big role. There is negative role, inhibitive role, should be taken inhibitive role. But well, it is the way, how we see. Children are being fed. The children are being fed. They're coming out in this world with abundance of opportunity. They are coming, their children are not, we shouldn't talk to, we shouldn't make them responsible for that. We shouldn't say that. But children need to get information. They are hungry for information. If we cannot filter the information as a senior in the family or as a senior in the community, if we don't take care of our own responsibility to filter the information, or whatever, no matter whatever information they are receiving from the media or from school, college, and from the society or somewhere else, it doesn't matter. If we cannot communicate with the children and if we cannot explain the realistic scenario, then they will get wrong information. Okay, so something like that. Well, Dr. Jade, I admit that definitely mass media has a big role, but mostly they are playing inhibitive role. Okay, the negative role. Okay, whatever it is. And if you talk about the spiritual means theosophical level, definitely it has got also dichotomous way. That means sometimes media is propagating a lot of theosophical ideas, unrealistic ideas, definitely, and some other way they are giving some confusing information. Children are getting confused about that. So I'm not sure which one Dr. Jade spoke about. Spiritual means if it is ethical and moral developmental issue, I spoke about that, and also I tried to talk about theosophical level as well. Is there anything?
The last question from Jayalakshmi Madam. Some person only develop on the thighs the muscles. I couldn't understand. Maybe I can put in that way, as you have shown. While sitting, many people don't develop the muscles anywhere except for the stomach, the belly fat.
No, stomach muscles do not get miss. They gather adipose tissue. They gather adipose tissue. Prof. Olla is here still. She can talk about that much better. Gaining adipose tissue, that means unwanted fat. Unwanted, that means adipose tissue. Well, adipose tissue we don't need. Any one of us, we don't need. But people are gaining because of inactivity. And now the question is why we are inactive? Why some people are active and others are not inactive? If you talk about people are living in African continent, a lot of them need to take, or in South India as well, or in some other areas in rural sectors, or maybe in different countries as well. They need to maybe just to bring the water, drinking water. They may need to walk for maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 1 hour to go and fetch the water and bring it. Okay. So if our life is not like that difficult, if we are in a very much protected environment, privileged environment, then we are getting into the situation. I have the privilege to sit. If I have the privilege to sit, I won't walk. And it is nobody is saying that, well, you're sitting for long, it is not okay. I don't see in the common society, people are talking like that. People are not getting punished because of sitting. Okay. So in that case, what we see, we are seeing that this is an attitude, change in the attitude, the activity, active living. is also an attitude. Attitude towards facing difficulties. Okay, attitude towards opposing the gravitational force. Well, I'm sitting right now. I was lying and I'm sitting right now. And the gravity is pulling me down. Okay, if I want to stand up, okay, it's a force. I have to apply the force. So I have to break the inertia. And if I try to move, and if I try to run, if I try to jump from this side to that side, that means we are trying to defy the gravitational pull more. That's an exertion, question of exertion. Now, exercise, people have wrong idea about exercise. A lot of people think that exercise, doing exercise, you are getting exhausted. Definitely you are not doing wrong things. Exhaustion and exercise are different. Okay, if you do exercise for, well, 45 minutes of hard training, but that's what we do on regular basis. 45 minutes of hard training. That means 15 kgs of barbells in 2 hands. Okay, biceps, maybe putting the legs up over there, maybe 40 push-ups. Okay, in four sets, 14 to 4, 160 push-ups, and then few other, so 500 push-ups, and doing squats about maybe 200 squats. If we do all this in 45 minutes for 4 days per week, and before that 15 to 20 minutes of running, if we are in habit of like this, then we are defying the gravitational pull. We are engaging ourselves, and we are not getting disturbed. We are not feeling tired. We are not feeling exhausted. That's because the science behind the exercise we are following. If the science behind the exercise is not being followed, then only 2 kgs of activity, 2 kgs of barbell and something, doing like this, I may feel exhausted. So the science behind sports and exercise is very, very much important that people need to know, and what is not being propagated throughout the world in that way. Okay, so that's how is the problem. Okay, particularly in the Indian subcontinent, is a very, very much neglected science. Sports science and exercise science is very much neglected, and we are facing the problem consequence anyway. So I told all of you that I'm a talkative person, and it's a Prof. Santanu took a very, very big challenge, giving me opportunity to talk. So,
no, sir, in fact, it is a pleasure. So we would love to listen to you more. Anyway, you are an Indian, no, working in Bangladesh. So it's like that you are our own.
I worked everywhere.
Yes.
I worked everywhere. I worked in Canada, in US, in Switzerland, in UK, in France, in Greece, in whole Southeast Asia. I worked everywhere. And
Yes.
still I'm having collaborations everywhere.
So nice of you, sir. So in turn, in future, we'll be looking forward more of the collaborative work, and jointly we will be doing more. It is just a first step on the, we are putting a first pebble in the basement. So
no problem.
We wholeheartedly thank you for your
Any other question? Any other question?
No, sir.
Okay. So thanking all of you. Well, our last PhD student is going to present on Monday. Okay, she's the Olympian and she'll be presenting on Monday. So the last of the 8 PhD students we already took care. Okay. So anyway, so
yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. God bless you. And we thank you on behalf of all the collaborators, all the joint organizers. And it will be indeed privileged for your future collaborative works and research with ours. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, see you. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So now I request our speaker, let me check out. Yes, may I request Gurdeep Dhinsa ji to unmute himself? Yes, sir.
Hello everybody, and hello Dr. Santanu. I hope you can hear me nice and clear.
Yes, you are absolutely clear. Yes, sir.
All right. So,
Let me introduce you to all our esteemed delegates on Zoom as well as in the YouTube, that we are blessed, and in turn we requested Gurdeep sir very late, but he accepted, and it is his greatness. Gurpreet Dhinsa ji, since his teenage years in 1980, Gurpreet Dhinsa's ongoing passion for outdoor and adventure sports has been the guiding force in his life. In 1993, upon his introduction to flying, Gurpreet's life was forever altered, spurring him to become India's foremost paragliding expert. His reputation was reinforced during his 60-plus international competition, and also due to his position as the founder and lead instructor at India's top paragliding academy. In 2001, Gurpreet enrolled in the British Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association certification program, which led him to found PG Gurukul in 2002. At the peak of his prowess as a competitive pilot, Gurpreet's achievements towered above his peers. He was the first Indian entrant to achieve a podium finish in an international competition, while also maintaining India's top rank as a pilot for most of the stretch between 2009 and 2018. Amongst his other passions and skills include in-depth field and technical knowledge of trekking, scuba diving, kite surfing, skiing, and mountain biking. At present, Gurpreet's focus is to bring international standard of safety and protocol to India's burgeoning adventure sports sector. Official roles: Adventure Tour Operator Association of India, ATOAI, invited to set up minimum safety standards for paragliding, hang gliding, and other aviation sports for adventure tour operators for the Tourism Ministry India reviewed. Aero Club of India, ACI, co-founder of Committee for Paragliding Rules and Regulations for Director General Civil Aviation, DGCA, and Paragliding Association of Uttarakhand, PAU, founding member and president PAU, responsible for setting up entire new tourism sector policies, safety guidelines, site approval, stand-up pilot training and standards. And PG Gurukul School, founder and chief instructors of India's premier paragliding school, training 100 plus pilots annually. Clients include Indian Air Force, Navy, Army, and Border Security Force. Professional accomplishment: first Indian pilot appointed by Paragliding World Cup Association to observe international competitions in Turkey and Russia. World Championship Task Member, 12th Federation Aeronautical International in Bulgaria. World Cup Task Committee member, BIR for India's prestigious first ever Paragliding World Cup 2015. Member of multiple task committees for paragliding competitions in several countries from 2003 till date, and member of organizing committees for India's Paragliding World Cup events 2003, 4, 6, and 8. Mountain rescue coordinator working with Indian Air Force to search for and evacuate accident casualties and medical emergency in Ladakh, Kinnaur, and Bir, 1996, 1998, 2002, 2004, and 15. And competition results: 2005, 14th place Himalayan Open; 2008, 11th place Himalayan Pre-World Cup; 2009, 14th place Russian Open Cup; 2009, second place PWC Bahrain Turkish; 2009, first place Open Kazakhstan Championship PG; and 2009, third place Open CISS Cup Kazakhstan, and its N number. And 2016, fourth place Turkish Pre-World Cup Hasan Dagi. So his awards and accolades are lots. So we'll, instead of speaking more, let us listen from such a prolific paragliding expert, and let us request you to take us into paragliding mode. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Professor Santanu. All I can say is that I just loved paragliding and adventure sports, and rest everything followed. None of this was planned. What you heard, it just happened. I think I'll take up time to introduce aviation sports a little bit and then talk more about paragliding. So just to brief you, aviation sports in general are not Olympic sports currently. Most of them are by default regulated by FAI, that is Federation Aeronautica International. So I'm going to share my screen and we go to the FAI website, and I'll just go over the broad categories. So we are on the FAI website. And if we click on sports, we see which sports. Can you see my page?
Yes, sir.
All right. So these are broad categories. We have aero modeling. We know this is making small model planes. They are competition. All these sports have competitions. They have international ranking, national rankings, and you can check them all on FAI website. Like the whole my flying record, my competition record, all the 62 competitions. You can go on rankings and go to paragliding and country, and you can see who in India has done what competitions. So everything is cross-checkable here. Like tennis seeding, we have a world pilot ranking system run by FAI also for each category. So area modeling will have its own competition. Similarly, they have an amateur experimental aircraft category, which generally means new types which are not commercially approved, but can be used for FAI under the experimental aircraft category. Then we have hot air ballooning as such, and ballooning has hot air ballooning and of course helium-filled balloons also. Then new category, we have drones. They have competitions, racing in drones also. Sorry, I need to move the windows a little bit. Then we have gliding, which is, I will show you the pictures also. Till drone we know. And gliding, I will share some pictures so you can form a mental image of what a glider is. So these are all records, but this is a view from the cockpit. Need to find some pictures. Okay. So it's a plane which is very thin. I'll try to open another window and show you. They're also called sailplanes.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Right. So here we have another plane, and you can see pictures of sailplanes or gliders. So these are very light aircrafts, looks like an aircraft, but it doesn't have any engine. And they use just currents, rising air currents to stay up. That's what we call soaring. So gliders have distance records. They have competitions or races over fixed task. So all these categories are there. Now, going back, we have hang gliding. Now, what's hang gliding? A lot of people confuse it. Hang gliding, paragliding, parasailing. So we go to hang gliding. We check out some pictures. I think my net is going slow. Yeah. So this is a hang glider. So you actually hang, you know, this black strap here is what you hang from. That's where the word comes from. And your steering of the aircraft is only by shifting your weight to one side or the other side, to forward or to back. And this is how you control this aircraft. Again, it doesn't have any engine, but it has a steel or aluminum structure, not steel actually, titanium, aluminum alloy is most popular nowadays, or carbon fiber. And they have in between battens also. In the wing fabric, you see there are battens also. And they give it an aerofoil shape. You can look up on Google later what is an aerofoil shape. And this makes it fly. So it's again gravity sport. You soar like soaring birds, or same like glider, and also paraglider follows the same process. So you can see this is a hang glider taking off here, and on the FAI website there are different links to coming events and all that stuff. So it's pretty organized sports. Again, going back to another category, we have microlights and paramotors. Now, what are microlights? Microlights, by definition, in most countries, is an aircraft under 350 kilos. So this is powered. It can have a small engine. Nowadays, electric engines are also coming in. So there are different kind of microlights. You have a hang glider, wing-based microlight. So wing will be hang glider. There will be a frame below, like this people here sitting in this aircraft taking on the runway. This is a hang glider. You can't see the wing, but you can see the control bar and two people sitting, and there's a propeller behind. So this is a hang glider microlight. They can be fixed wing microlights also, which are like plane, but they don't. They are under 350 kilos. It's a stick control. And similarly, paragliders can be attached with paramotors, with motors also, and they are called paramotors in that case. So that's another is microlight and para. And now we come to my sport, and that's paragliding. And we have parachutes and skydiving. We know skydiving is jumping from aircrafts and opening up your, there's a difference between parachuting and skydiving. Parachuting means opening the parachute and then flying it down, can be round parachute or like a rectangular one like paraglider, but smaller. So parachuting refers to an activity after the chute opens, or in some time chute is opened immediately after your jump, right? Whereas skydiving is the part where you jump from aircraft, you control your body in the falling airflow, and you open the chute later on. So you get about 45, 50, 1 minute, or whatever, depending on your jump height, some time to do some maneuvers with your body in air while falling, and that is skydiving. So coming to now paragliding. Now, paragliding and parasailing are also not same. They haven't mentioned here parasailing because in parasailing, we don't have competitions. So what is parasailing? Parasailing is what you see in Goa, you know, towed behind a boat and a round chute and you go up. That is a parasail. It doesn't have an aerofoil. It's just a drag machine. You know, air hits a canopy, like a parachute, round parachute, has some vents on the tail end, and there's a line pulling you. So it rides up like this. But there's a lot of pull required to do this. With a paraglider, it's aerofoil. So you just use gravity, or sometimes you even do a winch launch, and you need very little pull to make the paraglider go up. It's much more efficient aerofoil. So here you see a picture of paragliders, and these are competition paragliders. You can see from their profile, they're very sleek, very thin. Now you can hardly see the lines because to reduce the drag, they have kept the lines very thin. And this is a shot from a competition actually. So this is what I do. So we will talk more about it. Paragliding is further, particularly in terms of sports, is divided into 3 categories. There are cross-country competition. That's the picture from a cross-country competition. So what happens in a cross-country competition is not that we cross any countries. It just means we cover distance. So let's say a glider will, every kind of aircraft will have a particular glide ratio. Like if you switch off the engine or external source of power, it will go, for every meter it loses, it goes certain distance forward. So paragliders usually about 1:10 for normal, 1:12 for competition. So if we cover distance more than this, using the thermals or the rising air currents, then that becomes a cross-country flight. So going beyond your natural glide ratio, using the natural energy from the nature, that becomes a. So how do we compete in this? We are given turn points, GPS points over different, like if I take example of here in Bir, we can start at Billing, which is the takeoff locally, and we are asked to fly to Dharamshala. So we don't need to recognize Dharamshala. We're just given a coordinate and our GPS tells us where to go. But you don't fly straight. You look where, because you cannot fly 40, 50 kilometers straight. You will land. So you have to look for energy sources in between, sources of rising air currents, and you follow that path. So whoever chooses a better, more efficient, more energy efficient path will arrive first. And so you have multiple, not just one turn point. Distance can be from 50, 60 kilometers to, I think the largest I did was 209 kilometers in Spain in a competition. Otherwise I've flown 211 kilometers, but in a competition, 209 was max we did. So this is cross country. This is what my discipline is in paragliding. Besides this, there is aerobatics. There people do a lot of maneuvers. It's called also acrobatic because actually you do it with your body, and aircraft is not so, I mean, I will try to find a video I can show you of acrobatics. It's quite interesting, quite scary. So why I didn't go toward this? So I'll just let you watch for first. So you can see here they're doing some synchronized movements and then some maneuvers on solo also. So like gymnastics, you get ranked by multiple judges. Same 1 to 10 score for over many things about difficult, how one movement merged into another movement and stuff like that. So you can see it's very thrilling. But to practice and learn this, you need a site which probably has water underneath and a good rescue system also, like a rescue boat and some qualified rescue people. Because while you're learning, you make a lot of mistakes, and this is a little higher risk sports as such. Here you see the two gliders made contact, which shouldn't be there. So this was, I learned paragliding late. I mean, I grew up earlier than paragliding came to India. I was 29 when I started. So I didn't go toward this discipline because this needs, generally would be preferable if you're very young when you enter, because later in the life reflexes don't develop that well. And also you become a little more cautious as you get older. Here you need to have more courage or more recklessness in a way also. So anyway, this was not my calling. I didn't follow, but it's exhilarating part. Third kind of paragliding discipline is just accuracy landing. You know, you're given a target to land on and people land almost spot on. I mean, top 3 pilots would be only making over 3. Total difference would be in one landing about 2 centimeter, 5 centimeter, not more than 20 centimeters, that accurate. They land so close to spot on. So that also needs a lot of discipline, a lot of training. This is sports side of paragliding, 3 disciplines, different levels. Events are generally, there are 2 bodies, either FAI, the Federation Aeronautica International, they organize the national opens, they organize the Continental Championship and the World Championship. Then we have another body called Paragliding World Cup Association. So that is 5 races a year with a super final, something like Formula 1. That's independent of FAI. Their sister concerns, but we don't have to go through FAI to go into paragliding World Cups. For World Cups, the qualification is individual, not nation-based. You're not representing a country, you are individual. So the quality of World Cup events is way higher because you don't have to go through national selection. You're selected based on your previous performances. So if there are 120 seats in a World Cup, then out of all the applicants, the top 120 pilots would be selected. Doesn't matter which country they're from. So really competitive countries: France, Switzerland, Germany, Italy, Czech Republic, Russia also has some very good pilots. The level of pilots is very high. So like in World Championship, we will get 4 seats for India, 6 for Switzerland, let's say. So the level of number 1 in India might not be better than number 20 in Switzerland, let's say. So that means the overall level of competition goes down. Whereas in World Cup, you get selected for your own levels. Just getting selected in a World Cup means you are among the top 120 applicants for that event. It's quite a prestige. It's much more difficult to get into World Cups, though there are 5 events a year. Downside is it's expensive sport. Normally for your hobby flying, the equipment is about 3.5 lakhs. Same equipment when we go for competition can go up to 5 or 6 lakhs, one set of equipment. Because of its competitiveness can last only about 2 years. 3rd year, you probably need to change it. And you have to travel abroad. So
Professor Santanu.
Sir has lost the network, so just wait for a minute. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yes, sir. Gurpreet, sir, you can go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I got disconnected some reason. So I was explaining that I justify the cost of competitions as my advertising cost because the prestige I earn at competition brings me students, also brings me experience and knowledge that I get from interacting and competing with top pilots in the world. And I think we need to get that kind of information to bring the next generation up to the level of competing like on that level. So that's the only justification. Otherwise, it's a huge cost to stay in paragliding competitions in international level. So besides this, there are other aspect of paragliding is the job opportunities. So I'll talk briefly about them because I don't like to emphasize too much on them. One, of course, is that you can become a coach or instructor, which needs a lot of experience. But besides that, you can also become a tandem pilot. And earn money from taking other people on joyrides, which is what you see most people. Most people in India think that paragliding is only joyrides because if they go to tourist sites like Manali, they come to Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Kamshet, even for a while in Mahabaleshwar or near Mahabaleshwar. All these sites, they only show you an example of commercial operations, tandem operation, and people just fly down, and people think this is paragliding, but that's only tip of the iceberg. You can fly hundreds of kilometers. People have crossed whole Himalayan from like Dharamshala to Nepal border, 600 kilometers flights over 5 or 6 days. Bivak flying, we call it. You can sleep over on the mountains and continue next day. So there's huge potential. There are a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of depth because you need to understand meteorology. You need to understand aerodynamics. So actually, I generally say that this sport needs all three. You need to be good athlete. You need to have good understanding of science, or at least ability or logic in your brain to understand the concepts. You don't need to have studied physics, but if you're a logical person, you can grasp the scientific concepts and you study, you can bring yourself to level to understand meteorology enough to make judgments about weather. You can understand how the air rises, where it will rise better, effect of sun, wind, and other factors, terrain, textures, everything. And you observe a lot. And third is thing paragliding needs is courage. So it's excellent sport, bringing out the best, I would say, in a way that you need to be athlete, you need to athlete in the sense you don't need to be very fit for this sport. I'm 55, I'm still competing. I qualified for World Championship last year, and I was in the Swiss World Cup this year, but COVID didn't allow. I might be going to Russia next month for Russian Open. So I can still compete, but I'm a fit 55-year-old. It's not that I'm very unfit, but doesn't need very high levels of fitness. But you need to be good athlete. You need to be able to move quickly. You need to be coordinated. You need to have a lot of endurance at high altitude. You should be able to supply your brain with enough oxygen. That means you need to have good cardiovascular system. When you're flying at 4,500 meters, that's about 14,000 feet. You need good lungs to keep your brain active. So all these things are required. It's quite interesting sport, and depth is huge. You can get into paragliding in 2 weeks, and then to master it, it takes a lifetime. You never become a bird. You can strive for it, but you never become a bird. So that's in brief. I won't like to take too much time because I think it's an introduction and it's a new subject for a lot of people here. I'm open to questions now. If people have questions, I can answer. That will decide the direction we can take.
So we have enabled the chat. So please do ask our esteemed speaker the questions. So you have anything, right? Because many of us have visited Manali and many hilly places where we have seen either paragliding or Goa. So I think usually you could see only it's kids who venture out or the young couples. So usually, but as sir has told at the age of 55, so the first question can. So due to cost factor, many even if willing to go for the sports are unable to do. How to go for the cost reduction?
Only way I can see for training, actually, you don't need to buy your equipment. So this is giving reason that that you need to buy equipment for training is not right one. Generally, the schools that teach will give you equipment till up to what we call P3 level, which is about 2-3 weeks of training, depending on your learning ability. So cost of training varies, like first week is about 26,000 in my school. Second is about 24,000. So if you're doing up to P3, that comes to 50,000 for just use of equipment and training. It doesn't cover boarding, lodging, but it's not 3 lakhs to as an entry cost. Then after that, only way to subsidize it would be to find a sponsor, because you can put a big logo on your glider. So that's one way to subsidize it. Or you can get into work. You do like occasional tandem flying and make some money from that. But for that, you need first to learn and have enough qualifications to become a tandem pilot. So yes, investment is needed. And to become any kind of commercial quality pilot, it takes 2 or 3 years. So it's about same cost as doing a degree, and same time also, same money and same time. Nothing less than that, I think, is sufficient. Unfortunately, there's no national association that is subsidizing or giving equipment on rental or anything. Currently, there are no shortcuts.
Sir, the next question is from Ganesh. How would you rate the risk factor in such adventurous sports?
Okay, first a joke. You know, the word word adventure comes from, do you know that it comes from junction of 2 words, adverse and venture. So of course they're not really safe. There is element of risk. I generally joke, if people understand Punjabi, that adverse venture, if I translate in Punjabi, that will call putta panga. It's if you understand, you'll get. But what I mean is that it's not a Russian roulette. It's not that you have a gun with one chamber filled and you're shooting yourself in head. It's a risky sport. Like so is mountaineering, right? Climbing Everest claims a lot of lives, but paragliding is not stupidly risky. It's if there are 3 factors: your training, your equipment, and conditions. If you choose the equipment and the condition and what you are going to do according to your skill levels, then you're very safe. If you jump out of this envelope of these 3 things, then you are at risk. And we generally have a saying within sport that paragliding forgives you 2 mistakes, but if you make 3 mistakes in a row, then you're in trouble. So that is the level of risk. And generally, I tell people that if you drove from Delhi to Beed, then you already done the riskier part. This is less risky than driving from Delhi to Beed. There's no other way of quantifying this. That's about it.
The next question, is there any training center in South India?
South India Training Center. I think nearest places would be the Kamshet only, around Pune. And there are people doing in Kerala, in Vagamon, but I don't think they're teaching there. It's not very good teaching site because it doesn't have very good bottom landing place. You can top land. Bottom landing has a lot of pineapple plantations around it and trees. And it's very narrow landing, so it's not for students. There is a site in Yelegiri, which was functional before, has been shut down, and people are working on reviving that site. There's some problem with the administration, but permissions are being sought and people are working on it. So this one falls between Chennai and Bangalore, so it will benefit both people. There's some people flying at Nandi Hill in Bangalore. I'm not sure if they're training there. But I think 2 major training centers are Bir and Kamshet, between Bombay and Pune. So these are 2 major places for learning. And then to fly, after you have some experience, there are a lot more options, including Kerala and Yelegiri. You can also fly with the winch. You know, there's a machine that kind of pulls you up with a line, but once you're up 500-600 meters, you can release the line, find thermals, and go like huge distances, like 100, 200, 300. Like world record now is about 570 kilometers from a single flight. So that's you don't need a very high mountain to do that. My best distance was not in Beer, which is a high mountain, but in Australia, we took off from 300-meter mountain, and I covered that day to 211 kilometers. So it doesn't take very high mountain to do that. It just takes skills and good conditions, of course, but I think thermals exist everywhere, every state. You just need to get yourself off in air. So either you need a mountain or you can use this apparatus called winch. For winch, you need 2 or 3 people because somebody has to operate the winch also. But one winch operator can launch many people, so you can form a club at any city. And there's another way of subsidizing cost is to form clubs in the city. You can have like 10 equipment shared by 100 people. And so the cost goes down. Everybody can buy shares and you can have a winch collectively. That's another 3 to 5 lakh rupees equipment. So it's better to be owned collectively. And one pilot just needs a winch for 10 minutes and then the other pilot can launch and then the other pilot can launch. So a good way would be to form clubs, but no such clubs exist at most places. I think very few cities have clubs. And but this is the way to go. We need to organize ourselves, stop looking at the government and do things yourself. That's what I believe. Not everything is going to come pre-solved. Solve your own problems, get together. Yeah.
Yes, sir. The next question from S. Shivamani. Before going for paragliding training, they should submit health-related medical report. So what is the health? How the health should be?
We just ask for a self-declaration that you don't have any epileptic history, you don't have a serious heart conditions, some like ACL injury in your knee, something like that, that will disqualify you. We just say that you have moderate fitness and you have no epileptic history, no serious heart condition. Only a self-declaration is required. As long as you are an adult. If you're a minor, then the parents have to give that declaration. So it's up to self-regulation. There's no government regulation on this so far. But there is, I must say here that government right now is working on making a national aviation sports policy. So there might be regulations coming in few months at the earliest. So let's see what happens there. So national aerosport policy is in making. It does not exist so far.
Yes, sir. Yes. So I think the question here is, so I'd like to invite Sri Lakshmi sir. So if you can.
Professor and DD sir, it's wonderful session. We were speechless, rather. What an amazing presentation. Marvelous, marvelous. It has enlightened minds of many youths. I was feeling that youthfulness, the way of your presentation, the scintillating, and it was a magnetic presentation you have made, and your adventure sport paragliding has attracted a number of young ones. You won hearts of many young, spirited, fit youths of this nation, even internationally, many more. So nice of you. Wonderful presentation. Hats off. Over to Santanu Das.
Yes, sir. So we thank our Gurpreet sir for his acceptance, and then Gurpreet sir, I think his network is slightly disturbing. Yes. Okay. So let us see. Okay, before sir comes. So as for the day, we thank our first speaker, Padma Shri K.Y. Venkatesh sir, wholeheartedly for his wonderful encouragement to the society for the physically challenged kids, physically challenged sports person, and to how to lead life with self-esteem. And then we had our next speaker from Indonesia, Miftahul Jana, who has been inspiring Indonesian Olympiads related to psychology. Then we had Maslova Olina Madam from Ukraine, who is helping with to learn and doing lots of work on how the deaf kids they can be trained properly, so that, as our Lakshmi sir has told, blinds, deafs, and all those. These are no all a part of an organ which has been just disabled or something like that, but need not to worry about, because world is too big. You need the heart, you need the courage, and you need to come out of the fear so that you can go ahead in your life. Because just a simple example, when we learn cycling, if we are scared that we may fall, we'll never learn cycling. If we are scared of criticism, then we'll never learn to do something. And the same way, we are here, we are doing certain programs. If there is a criticism, no way, because we know what is good and how we have to go ahead with. So your focus, you must be focused. You must think what is going to benefit the society, what is going to help you out, true from your heart. If you are dedicatedly working, definitely God is there to bless you and will bring success. Next, we had Professor Somendra Shah, sir, who had been positive mental health. The word now I told, I think, subconsciously it has come into me. As sir was telling, you should have always a positive mindset up. People are there to tell you what is wrong, what is right. Either you don't do, either you do this. So people are there. We need not to worry about that the criticism of the people, because if you are, before getting into the river or before getting into the work, you must be well focused. You frame your circles, you frame your squares, what you are going to do, what you are doing to do, what is the consequences. If you know the consequences is for the betterment of the society, better of the nation, people will criticize either doing good or doing bad. People are there to do that, but we have to overcome out of it, and we have to do. Yeah, people are there, close friends, who are positive critics. They want the loopholes, they want the flaws to be removed. We should appreciate them. Not all critics are bad. So we know that in movies there are critics. So the critics take out the bad element of the movies or cinema, and then we go ahead. Same way in our life also, we should take parents, teachers, well-wishers, godfather and friends to be the best critics. They must remove your flaws, and you should take in a positive way. God has given you brain, you think of, analyze. The critics is to criticize you, belittle you, or to motivate you, or to remove the flaws. In that way, I think we have taken a very positive note from Somendranath Sasa that being positive mental health and healthy lifestyle on the function of sustainability. And definitely, if it is so, then definitely we can go ahead. Next, we have the last speaker, Gurpreet Dhinsal sir, who has been wonderfully speaking that at the age of 5, even he is competing. Gurpreet sir has joined back. So that is how we do understand, because he is in Himachal, and from there, a lot of connectivity issues are there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Gurpreet sir. Yes. Yes, Gurpreet sir. Okay, fine, wonderful. So I was speaking about Gurpreet sir only, that and 100 years that he has joined back.
Right.
So it's at the age of 55 when he can compete in the that too paragliding adventure, as you told, adventure. So therefore, no,
Adverse venture. Adverse venture, sir.
adverse venture.
Yeah.
So therefore, definitely, as we know, without taking risk, we can't do. And in cricket also, we have seen, or if you don't take that extra risk, yeah, obviously it must be calculated. You can't take out the 3 chances, how you have clearly told, and God also always gives 3 chances. So no, if you take care of those 3 key points, and definitely we can go ahead with, and as I told, bicycling in the age of maybe 3 or 4 itself is an adventure. You are at the risk, bicycling, learning bicycling. So it's an swimming itself. You don't know, if you don't know proper swimming, don't have proper training. It's also an adventure sport for the young kids or small kids. So life itself is an adventure. I feel personally, it's my personal opinion, life itself is an adventure. You do a new business, it's an adventure. So it's how, so I take it. So I think, we must take a calculated risk and go ahead with a positive mind setup. And with calculated risk, definitely all will be, and we could see our stalwarts from adventure sports, that in paragliding. Yeah. Gurpreet sir, and we really thank you wholeheartedly that you have And once we visit you, definitely we think we can have, I think,
Hanji, Hanji.
yes.
Please,
We'll-
very welcome all of you. Anybody comes to Beed, you can drop in to say hello. I must say that paragliding world is very accessible. Even the top athletes world over are very, very accessible. You can just go meet. So if you come to Beed, please do come. If you have questions, if you just want to say hello, you want to have a cup of coffee. I mean, this is my cafe. I run a cafe here also. So a cup of coffee is on me. If you were attending this lecture, just drop in anytime.
No, definitely.
So,
My friends are there in Manali. My friends
All right.
are there, my childhood friends. So they keep calling. So now I got another opportunity. With
you
the,
got
definitely
another
join.
friend, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for the opportunity to talk,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you so
I
much.
love. Thank you very much.
God bless you. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll join again and meet post-COVID. We would like to come to Bangalore and encourage our students how paragliding is so important and how it can be useful. We could see paragliding next to our campus in Jakur Aerodrome. So there is paragliding going on sometimes, or in Nandi Hills. But the way you have explained, it's a really thrilling, and we feel that no, definitely we should
Will be my
first
players.
venture we have to do in a, under your guidance. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much.
Itself.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
sir.
Srikal.
And I now request that for tomorrow's program, and I would like to highlight, already we have given you the feedbacks and everything. And I request the participant, please don't ask for the backdated feedback forms. Every day we are updating in the Zoom and in YouTube as well. So we request you to be very sincere, not like only for certificate you feel the feedback, learn for the knowledge, because stalwarts are there in every walks of life who are giving inputs, and it's really thrilling. I am from core immunology and environment, but I got into health and then got into the sports because of our sports department, Sudhir sir and Aparna madam, as well as Lakshmi sir, and then Kathy madam and Kulkarni sir, Kiran Kulkarni ji and Alexander sir, and then Hyrule sir. So it's really wonderful, and it's really interesting to learn even from Somnath sir, Somen sir, that know how we can be a positive mind setup and we can multi-dimensional work we have to do.
Again.
So tomorrow's
Professor?
event, I would like to tell that it is completely from Indonesia and one from UAE. So Dr. Muhammad Arsad Subuj, sir, he will be speaking on sports and physical activity during COVID-19 pandemic. Then we have Mr. Suadu Pairo, sir, who is Director of Sporting Awards, and he is into the opportunities and challenges of sports in Indonesia. Then we have the physiotherapist, the renowned physiotherapist Imam Waliuo, will be speaking on physiotherapy, on Olympic preparation, and the concept, idea, and practice in the Indonesia. And then we have the last speaker, Professor Dr. James, who will be speaking on sports education and its scope in Indonesia. So we have, so such a small country, but you could see that people are, Olympians are coming up, budding Olympians are coming up drastically. So we are really thankful for them. And we have from Indonesia, Olympian Liduk, who was the world #1 in shuttle. So he will be addressing us on 28th. So that's how I could tell. And over to Lakshmi sir for the finishing talk, and then we can sign off.
Yes, in a nutshell, Professor Santanu, fabulous 5 presentation, day 5 is a wonderful, remarkable speakers, and always they have opened an ocean of positivity in the walks of life of all the viewers. Wonderful Professor Sundaram, Professor Olina, and Gurpreet, and the first 2 speakers, excellent. The Mufti from Dr. Mufti from Indonesia, one after the other. No, it's a wonderful, wonderful day. Day is done, and best is yet to come. Tomorrow is another day. World best Olympians are lining up, and it is all this credit goes to ACT and most flexible, fabulous Professor Santanu Das. So nice of you. Over to Santanu. Thanks. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I wholeheartedly thank you for your support and the seed of motivation what you have set right, and then we went on because of the positive mindset of God blessed us, and that's how we were here. And thank God we are, and wish everyone a very healthy and prosperous future. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you soon tomorrow at sharp 10 o'clock. Thank you, one and all.
Jai
Thank
Hind.
you. Jai Hind.